This is Journey Through Iran, Episode 9, written by Abdulmaalik Hashmi and read by Sonia. Zahedan, a familiar strangeness. Leaving behind the silence of the guesthouse, I stepped out onto the streets of Zahedan. In the morning sunlight, the city, with its trees, its roads, and its weather, felt strangely familiar. It was as if the place already knew me. I was looking for a call center, but as I walked forward, the streets began to remind me of Quetta. These wide roads, lined with tall cypress trees, made me think of the quiet, familiar lanes near Liaquat Park. For a moment, it felt like I was walking along the cool road near the governor's house, where the air always carries a light chill. The sidewalks of Zahedan were much broader than those in Quetta, as if the city was ready to welcome every step I took with more space and ease. While walking, I eventually reached a call center. At that time, mobile phones were rare, almost like a dream. The PCO, Public Call Office, was the only way to connect with the world. As I entered, something unexpected caught my attention. A young woman was sitting behind the counter. She wore a deep black chador, covering herself fully, yet her face showed confidence and her hands moved with skill. I wrote the phone number on a slip and handed it to her. Without hesitation, she dialed the number on an old rotary phone. To her, it seemed like a routine task. But for me, it was unusual. In Quetta, at that time, it was hard to imagine a woman working openly in a shop or office alongside men. But in Zahedan, in Iran, things were different. Women were part of everyday life without hesitation. The call connected, and a voice on the other end spoke in Persian. I replied in Urdu, saying I wanted to speak with Maulvi Nazir Ahmad. The reply came again in Persian. I guessed the woman might know Balochi, and when she did speak in Balochi, I was able to understand Maulvi Sahib was not at home. I could not speak Balochi well, but I could understand it when spoken. In a foreign land, in a language I did not fully know, I still understood a familiar message. Now I had to decide what to do next. The streets of Zahedan, the memories of Quetta, and the thoughts in my mind all seemed to mix together. I chose to spend the night at the Gilan guest house. As I walked back, a passing breeze carried a scent that reminded me of Quetta. Perhaps places change, perhaps distances grow, but the colors of certain cities and the shadows of certain roads always remain the same inside the heart. Generosity or wastefulness? The silence of the night slowly entered the hotel room. Outside, the streets of Zahedan were empty. Somewhere in the distance, a stray dog barked, as if asking me, "What did you gain by being so generous?" I lay half-reclined on the bed, checking my pockets. There was nothing left, only air. The currency that had filled my pockets just that morning had vanished. I had given some to a beggar, handed too much to a hotel clerk, and gave the tea seller so much money in tip that he could probably dream of drinking free tea for days. What kind of place was Iran? A land stretched between earth and sky, and there I was in the middle, behaving as if I had just returned from winning a kingdom. When I left the customs building in Mirjaveh, I took a taxi to Zahedan. I pulled out some notes and placed them in the driver's hand as if I were sealing a royal decree. "Here you go, enjoy yourself. This is what generosity looks like." The driver may have smiled quietly to himself, thinking, "These poor travelers always behave like this." It was a strange feeling. In Pakistan, I was just Abdulmaalik, a regular man. But in Iran, I acted like a prince from a royal family, eager to spend money at every step. When I entered the hotel and the clerk asked for the room rent, I handed over a bunch of notes as if saying, "Take it all, and ask for more if you need." The same thing happened at the phone call center. I gave the woman 2,000 or 3,000 rials, as if offering charity. And then the tea seller, I doubt he ever imagined someone would pay so much for a single cup of tea. But in the last hours of the night, as I lay in my bed at the guest house, a quiet voice disturbed me. "Abdulmaalik, this is not generosity, it is wastefulness." I closed my eyes, but the voice kept circling around me like a shadow. "In Pakistan, you were not rich. So why are you acting this way in Iran? Is there some magic in this currency that empties your pocket and makes your heart heavy?" This self-questioning stayed with me for days. I wandered through the markets of Iran, strolled in its streets, and everywhere I went, I saw my own reflection, sometimes wearing the face of generosity, sometimes showing the foolishness of waste. And then I understood, maybe I was not alone. Perhaps everyone here lived in the same state. For some, generosity was a necessity, for others, it was an illusion. And for me, it was a strange mixture of both, one that emptied my pocket and burdened my heart. Maulvi Nazir Ahmad refused to meet. There was a strange stillness in the afternoon air of Zahedan. The streets were quiet, the sun was strong, and the heat lay over the city like a heavy sheet. I was walking towards KM Avenue, where the tall minaret of the KM Mosque stood silently, unaffected by time. At the base of the mosque was the Darul Uloom Zahedan, a religious school where scholars in black and white turbans walked slowly, carrying the traditions of old. After the noon prayer, I met a young Arab man in the mosque's courtyard. He was thin, with a sunburnt face, and his voice carried the dry warmth of the Persian Gulf. We introduced ourselves, and I learned he was from Bandar Abbas. I asked in surprise, an Arab in Iran? He smiled gently and replied, "We have always been here, though often ignored." I was puzzled. But Bandar Abbas? He guessed what I was trying to say and said, "Yes, Arabs live in Bandar Abbas. So do the Baloch. We are the kind of people who do not fit into borders, but borders still hold us. We speak Persian in public, but at home, we speak Arabic. You may find it surprising, but there are many chains in our sea, most of them are invisible." Then he added, "Iran is not just Persian. Arabs live in Khuzestan, Avaz, and near Shiraz. Some of our people are scattered across Fars province, and others hide their identity in Tehran's streets. Iran speaks many languages, Balochi, Kurdish, Azeri, Lori, but the loudest one is silence." I nodded and changed the subject. "Where can I meet Maulvi Nazir Ahmad?" "He's at home," the young man replied, "but meeting him is difficult. He doesn't see just anyone." He adjusted his cap and walked away towards the mosque entrance. I stepped into a nearby phone booth. I dropped a 100 rial coin and picked up the receiver. After a short pause, I heard a flat, uninterested voice. "Yes. Who is this?" I introduced myself and mentioned that I had a letter from Maulana Abdulmaalik Baloch. But the man's tone remained cold. "Maulvi Sahib, I am a traveler," I explained. "I have come to understand this land." I was hoping to ask about which way I should go next from Zahedan. There was a silence, as if he was tapping his fingers on a desk. Then he replied, "You could get that information from anyone. Why do you need to come to me?" I explained again, "Maulana Abdulmaalik Baloch gave me your name. He said you would help me. I am very busy. A meeting is not possible. I am going to Mashhad." But I tried to continue, but the line went dead. My coin had run out, and Maulvi Nazir Ahmad's voice disappeared completely, perhaps it had turned away from the start. I looked at my hands, as if they too were surprised by how the call had ended. As I stepped again into the mosque courtyard, I felt that some doors are always closed. And some are never meant to open for certain travelers. Maulvi Nazir Ahmad was a busy man, involved in politics and well known in Zahedan. I was just an ordinary traveler, searching for stories in the dust of Iran. And perhaps this story, too, was meant to be left buried in that dust. I gave up trying to meet the other scholars whose names Maulana Abdulmaalik had written for me. Some paths turn away on their own. Some stories remain without an ending. And some meetings were never meant to happen. Abdulmaalik Hashmi, bringing every journey to life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support helps us create even better videos. Rocket sparkles. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.